For cheap D2R items, visit aoeah.com. You get 3% off with the code Arreat. Check the link in the description.
Hello and welcome everybody. In the second part of the Good Manner Melee PvP series, I'm introducing the Wolf. And since this class can be set up quite cheap compared to others, I'll show you a budget build that packs a serious punch. So maybe it's a nice opportunity for PvP newcomers. Even for pure PvE players, I highly recommend checking out PvP builds, especially melee. Good items are particularly expensive in this area, as you can't compensate with player skill. So knowing which items are valuable is essential for PvE players as well. Extremely strong PvP items can always be traded at high prices, regardless of whether you're farming in ladder or non-ladder, or at what state the season currently is. Now let's get started with the skill tree. The three most important skills are Werewolf, Lycanthropy and Fury. Of course they are maxed out. Higher shapeshifting skill levels increase the wolf's life, attack speed, attack rating and damage, which is why wolves use skillers in their inventory. The remaining points go into Oak Sage and or Heart of the Wolverine, as well as Cyclone Armor. For the attribute points, follow the usual rules: strength just enough to equip gear, dexterity until you reach 75% block chance, and vitality gets the remaining points to maximize life. Here you can see the attack speed breakpoints relevant to most common wolf builds. If building outside the meta, you will need to check a calculator. My budget build uses a Berserker Axe and reaches Werewolf skill level 38. However, the transformation will be executed in the weapon switch using CTA and Spirit after activating the War Cries, so this will add 4 more skill levels. This means we can build for the Werewolf level 42 breakpoints. For maximum speed, we will need at least 157 IAS. Some builds go for the second or even the third breakpoint, as slower weapon types just need too much attack speed, but in return they have more damage. As you can see from the table, all possible one-handed weapon types are played, just like with the Zealot. Also here, the weapon determines the rest of the build. Let's move on to the gear. I use an Ethereal Death Cleaver because its 66% Deadly Strike helps to push my build above 100% Deadly Strike in total. Additionally, this weapon has 40% increased attack speed and lowers the target's defense. Unlike Paladins, the Wolf doesn't urgently need to play Angelics without the Fool's mod. We can reach about 25k attack rating with the High Lords as well. That is great because we want the 20% IAS and the Deadly Strike scaling per character level, bringing us to 100% yet. For the rings, I used 2 Ravenfrost, a solid and affordable choice. The absolute standard helm for melee wolves is Cerberus Bite, as we greatly benefit from its +4 to shapeshifting skills, and its attack rating bonus of up to 120% is stronger than the Visionary mod. This helm must be socketed with an IAS jewel, preferably with enhanced damage. Jewels with around 35% ED are quite cheap in non-ladder. A second IAS ED jewel goes into the Storm Shield, so we've got 90% increased attack speed yet. We then add 20% IAS by the gloves, bringing us to the second fastest attack speed breakpoint. Looking at the body armor, a very budget option is Fortitude, which provides a good damage boost and extra life. However, like this, you will stay at the second fastest breakpoint. A bit more expensive solution is an IAS ED armor with life, which allows us to reach maximum attack speed. Just as mentioned, non-max roll jewels aren't too expensive, and even a 4-socket armor with around 80 life is quite affordable. In the worst case, you could just use a clean base, but then you should also use very cheap jewels which are no shame to waste. We then have a Verdungos to reach 50% damage reduction, and since we've already got 100% deadly strike, we go for Sandstorm track, for extra strength and vitality. In the offhand, the wolf has CTA and spirit. The druid first shouts, then summons his spirit, and then shouts again to buff the spirit too. After that, he casts Cyclone Armor and transforms. In the inventory, we use shape-shifting skillers with life. 45 are still expensive of course, but 40 life are affordable. Additionally, you'll still need 10 small charms with max damage, attack rating and life, but bethink, other classes need a full inventory of these, and also here you can start with some cheaper ones. As you can see, the stats look very solid. Wolves don't have high defense, but they compensate with a huge life pool. My budget build reaches 8600 life points with Oak Sage. In GM duels, opponents don't actively attack the druid's spirits, but if the Oak Sage runs into death, it's just bad luck. However, usually a wolf is not allowed to summon one of his spirits when fighting a barb. With almost 24,000 attack rating, this build should be able to hit paladins and barbarians reliably, and thanks to more than 100% deadly strike, all damage is doubled. With an IAS ED armor, the damage is slightly lower, but we reach maximum speed and even gain more life. Something many players don't realize, 40's life per character level is calculated after any percent based life adds we get from shapeshifting and battle orders, while flat values are applied before. So using a budget IAS ED armor with 80 life, we have about 9000 life yet. When putting max rolls everywhere, we can reach up to 9500 life points. To push beyond that, you'd have to play a different build, which can of course get expensive as well. But at a certain level, RNG determines the result of a single match, and once you have a realistic chance of also defeating better equipped players, the melee game becomes fun. I guess this build can reach that level. It's an all-around setup that can compete against all melee classes, and the costs are quite low. There is no need for an expensive Cruel Fool's weapon, nor a Visio helmet, and even for the armor slot, the 40 variant is very cheap. However, getting a budget IAS ED life armor is definitely worth it. In formats where the serial death cleaver isn't allowed, you can use the same setup with the Rune Master axe instead. To reach the second fastest breakpoint however, you'll need the 60 IAS armor and an IAS ED jewel in the weapon. So a possible socketing could look like this. If you additionally equip Gore Riders, you'll still reach 92% deadly strike. Instead of an ED max jewel, you could also socket a Neath rune to increase your chance to hit. When I've finished my other characters, I will also try a melee wolf, as I already got most of the items yet. If any melee druid experts are watching, feel free to share any tips or impressions in the comments below. I say goodbye, take care, and may the loot be with you.
Follow me. Come on. Thank you. Goodbye.